for this build, you'll just need a 17mm socket and a 17mm wrench. Otherwise you can just get 2 spanners, but it just needs to be 17mm. Open up the bolt pack. You just want to search for 2 different types of bolts. You have the hexagon end and the round smooth one. They're going to be 8 of these, so just separate that to make your life easier. So we'll just put the plastic bottoms on. So you'll have this long bar, which is the back bar. Pretty much the feet will be facing opposite the holes, so these will be facing out and the feet will be at the bottom. These should just pop on. If they don't, just give it a good knock. Then we'll lay this one at the back, and then we'll just repeat the process for these 2 legs as well. 4 of these hexagon bolts, take one of the washers off in the nut. We'll come from behind. This comes all the way through. Line it up and repeat it on the other side as well. And then just finger tight the washer and the nut. Once you do it on the left-hand side, just repeat the process on the right as well. Next, we'll just get these bolts with the soft ends. These will be going underneath, so you'll need 4 on each side. So because this is loose, you can just lift that one up and make sure it goes all the way through. Just to avoid it being lost again, just lightly push the nut on there. Because we will be putting 2 bolts through the front as well. And then repeat the same process on the right-hand side. From here, you just now want to tighten up the 4 bolts at the end. This will just create a bit of stability when you're putting the uprights on. So now we'll just do the 2 uprights. So just take off the nut. When you are doing these uprights, you'll notice that there's numbers at the front and none at the back. So you always want the numbers facing forward. Just lift it up and over. Make sure you have a good grip on it. And again, just use 1 washer and 1 nut. Once that's in, it will sit there. However, if you do just tighten it up with your drill, it'll just give you a bit more peace of mind. Just like that. And you don't want to do it fully tightened because you'll come back to that later for the top crossbar. So now we're just going to do the top brackets. So you'll notice on these brackets, you'll have 3 and 2. The 3 want to be up and down, so it'll be facing like that. So for now, you just want to get 2 bolts. Come from the outside. You can pick whatever hole you like. I just do the middle one. The middle will also go through the top hole there. That should just rest there. Grab the other bracket. Hold it there with your finger. That'll now just sit there nicely. And just get the other one from the bottom position. Again, once the bolt goes through, it'll just sit there nicely and just finger tighten for now. So now you just want to get this top bar. So when you look at it, you'll notice there's 4 holes on one side and 2 holes at the bottom there. You want to be facing the 4 holes towards the front. So if you actually grab your first bolt, reach over there, see how these 2 holes here all align, just put your bolt through. It will rest there, but just keep in mind that will move. Get your washer and your nut, lock it in there, and proceed to do the same thing with the secondary bolt. Again, it's all fine if it just sits there loosely for now, and that will be nice and secure. And now just do the same thing on the right-hand side. So now we're going to attach the crossbar just so we get a bit more stability at the top there. You'll notice that there's a fat bar and a skinny bar. The fat bar will be actually at the back, so it'll look like that. So what you want to do is get the bolt through. It is a bit of a balancing act. First one there. If you put a little weight on the bolt, it will just sit there. Come across to the other side. And again, it will sit there. Just be mindful that it can drop out. Put that one through and just get 2 more bolts at the back. And it'll sit there just like that. So the next part is we're just going to put this back connecting bar on, but you will have to use 1 bracket on either side on the outside. So if you actually just put the bolt through one of the 3 holes, push it through, it will just sit there, and then do the same on the other side as well. Perfect. Now if you can get a second person, great. If not, don't stress too much. But what you want to do, push that there and hold it in there. Once you tighten up that nut, it will support the weight of it, but again, you don't want to move it around too much. And that should just sit there. So once everything's connected, you now just want to tighten everything up. It's best to start from the ground upwards, just so everything aligns up. But just make sure you do it fairly tightened. You don't want to dig the bolts into the framework itself, but at the same time, you do want to make sure it's nice and tight. So with the bolts, just keep in mind that they are a lot of the bolts look the same, but as you can probably see here, you got some that are shorter than others. Just keep that in mind as you are putting it together. The instructions will tell you which bolts to use, but you've just got to keep in mind that some of them are different. Now you just want to get 2 bolts to lock this one in. So these are the longer ones with no black spaces in the middle there. Just line it up with the hole, keep wobbling it around and it'll eventually go through. And then just with a washer and a nut on the back side, just finger tight for now. So with this pole, just make sure this big hole is at the top, and then these smaller holes are on the outside. So come around the back, those outside holes will just slide straight in. And from here, you'll get the medium-sized bolt. Take the washer and the nut off. That'll go straight through. And then while you're here, you just want to put this piece down. So you'll notice that there's 2 holes on this flat pad and no holes there. You want the holes facing towards the back and up. So it just goes up and over. You will have to fiddle with it, and then it'll slide all the way down. And just leave it there. So now you just want to do the top bar. So this will actually go over the top of this crossbar, but it also goes into the silver part. So if you just reach up, this will just lock into place there. You can just leave it resting for there. You want to get 2 of the longer bolts and the other medium-sized one. Just secure this back one first so it doesn't go anywhere. And then if you actually look at this crossbar, you'll see 2 holes, and that's the one you're lining it up to. It's easier to go from top to down, and that'll just go there. Nut and washer, and then repeat it on the other side. Don't worry about tightening these ones up, because again, we'll do it at the end when everything's secure. So now we'll do the cables. The good news is there's only 2. and they're the exact same length. So just get one out and put the other one aside. The best way to do this is to do the top cable first. There is a little trick to it. So you've actually got to go through this middle hole and above the crossbar. You don't want to put it through the crossbar. So you just want to go up and over, back down this other hole, and then just kind of feed it all the way through. From here, grab the end again. Don't worry as it frails about a bit. Just put it through this hole. Again, feed it through and just let it rest there. And next you just want to get a clip, attach it to the end of the cable there and just leave it hanging. So now we'll just do the pulleys with the spacers. So you do want to take it all apart, just leaving one washer on the bolt. With one of the spacers, just have that little lip facing the same end as the hexagon. Pick up your pulley. Just make sure it runs through in the middle of your pulley. Get this bolt straight through the middle, all the way through. And then with this spacer, skinny side in first, and then your washer and nut. Finger tight again. Then repeat the same step with this secondary hole. So now with this back one, you just want to make sure the cable goes over the top. You don't want to go underneath because it won't function properly. So over the top, put your spacer and your bolt through, and then get the spacer, get your washer and your nut, and that'll be nice and smooth there. And then just get this clip here, just make sure it clips there, and make sure it's nice and secure just before you do your next pulley. Next, you just want to build this little pulley contraption. So bolt through the top hole, so you have one single hole and three individual holes. Just through the top one, you want to go the plate, the pulley, other plate, and then you just want your washer and nut. Again, just finger tighten, and then you want to go straight into this position. So just pull this down a little bit. This will then just sit in the middle of that cable. It will move around a little bit, but it will just sit there. So now you just want to do the bottom cable. So come to the bottom here, grab one of your pulleys, and just push that in there. Sometimes it slides in, other times you need to nudge it in. Get the bolt straight through, and that rests there. While you're in this position, grab another one of these bolts, grab one pulley and the cable. You then want to come all the way through and just go to the lowest hole. That one will go through there. Washer and nut, and just finger tight. Just like that. So now you want to just connect the bottom cable to the little hook down there. So you'll need two clips, one for this end. Grab the short chain, so it'll look like this. Clip the chain through, grab a second clip, and then with this, reach down to the bottom here, and it'll sit nicely there. So you will have a bit of slack to give, but it'll look like that. So now you just want to attach the weight stack holder. So you'll notice you have these two holes which will need to go here. It won't go that way. Again, they've just got to be facing outwards. Hold that into position with one hand. Get rid of these rings a bit. And then two bolts facing downwards just to make it a bit easier for yourself. And they both require one washer and a nut on each side. Just finger tight. And then come back and just do it up with your drill or the tools that you have. Yep, so now that you've tightened everything up, you may notice that sometimes your cables are a bit too loose. So these three holes here are really great. So all you've got to do is take this bolt out and then lift it up to a higher hole, depending on how much slack you need. Can be a bit fiddly. So now put that back in. And now as you can see, the cables are a lot tighter, and this thing will lift up straight away. So now we're just going to connect the chain to the short bar. You can also connect it up to the lat row bar if you wish. It just depends on your arm length. But generally speaking, you put it on the bottom low bar, just so you have more reach through your legs for better support. So it just clips on here, clips on there, and away you go. And you'll have one clip left for the lat pull down bar. This one here, you just want to put on, but it also has a resting spot where you can flip over, so it's not going to be swinging in your face. So the first step, if you have your home cage built already, you will have to take out these two bolts and replace them with the two longer bolts in the packet here. Just because if you leave those shorter bolts in, it won't be long enough. So just grab this shorter end, not to be confused with this longer one. You just want to put 1 foot at the end of it. Give it a good old knock. Again, just make sure the foot's on the ground here. You will need your 17 mil again, just to undo these bolts. You can do one at a time if you wish, or you can do both, it's up to you. I generally do one at a time, just for convenience. And while you're doing this bolt, just come through the front. And perfect. So now you just want to get this bolt with the flat end, just lift it up, hold it through and get the second one in as well. It can be a bit fiddly. Drop to the ground. And with these poles, you'll notice that you have a fat hole and a skinny hole. Just make sure the fat holes are always facing outwards. So lift this one up. Again, you do want to hold on to it until you get this nut and washer onto it. And then just for peace of mind, just tighten it up. So if you just grab this piece, again, it will be a bit fiddly, so just do one bolt at a time. This will go through the middle there, while this back one will line up just like this. Get your washer, get your nut, and then once you finger tight it, it'll just sit there, and then repeat the same step. And then you will notice there's a hole here. You still just want to put a bolt through the middle. This goes all the way through, and that'll sit there. Just want to put the bar bowl holder on the inside. You cannot put it on the outside just because the weight stack holders are here. So again, just on the inside there, run your bolt through there, and just get your washer and nut through again. So just to repeat, has to be on the inside, cannot be on the outside. So now we just want to put the outside bull horns on. So as I was saying before, the fat hole on the outside, this just goes through. You'll just need one of these shorter bolts. Come on the inside here, and again, tighten it up as much as you want. Otherwise, just use your tool to really crank it right in, and just repeat that 4 times all the way up the pole. So now you set your gym up, the only thing you have to worry about is this silver bar. Sometimes it comes a bit dry, so all you have to do is just put some grease or WD-40 onto it, just so this middle part is nice and smooth. If you feel like it's dragging or pulling, it just means it's dry and it needs lubricating. That's all it is, and it's an easy fix. Once you do that, you're all good to go. Other than that, it's all sorted.